Please activate the subtitles.
My name is Roger Color, and this video is going to be very quick. This is from a series of videos in which I'm going to try to speak as naturally as possible. The same way I talk to my friends. I'm not talking to you as a teacher, but I'm talking to you as a friend. And you're watching my video, so I hope you're my friend. You know, because I really respect you and I like you as a friend. You know, I always think about you. It's crazy, and I'm not a stalker. Don't worry about that. But I always think about you, in a different way. Okay. Because I always think, oh, I've got to make a video for my subscribers. You know, I really think of you as friends. So I hope you think of me as a friend too. So I'm not going to hold myself back. I'm going to use the expressions and slangs and bad words that I would use with my friends. So I hope you like it. So this is real life English. And I know it has become repetitive, but I really don't know what to talk about yet. I haven't made any script. I haven't written anything before. Actually, I'm driving, you know. I'm driving at this moment. I'm going to work. It's exactly, let me see the time. It's exactly 5 a.m. on Monday. It's a Monday and it's 5 a.m. Good morning, good morning. So without any further ado, let's get started. Well, good morning. Well, another week has just started, you know. And I'm really excited to go to work. I'm lying. I'm not excited. I'm really sick today. And maybe you'll notice by my voice, you know, my nostrils are completely clogged. Yes, my nostrils are completely clogged, and maybe you notice that because, you know, because of my voice. And yeah, I'm driving to work, so I'm sorry if you hear any crazy noise like people honking horns, I don't know, people screaming, or maybe the rain. It's funny because it hardly ever rains around here, but coincidentally, every time I decide to record myself speaking as I drive, it automatically starts raining cats and dogs. Yeah, nobody uses this expression anymore, cats and dogs. I remember that my grandfather used to use this expression all the time. I mean, when it rained, he used to say, "Oh man, it's raining cats and dogs." But yeah, people don't use this expression anymore. It's been a long time since I heard it. Well, I need to get to work at 8 a.m. I work on Paulista Avenue, but today I'm really far from Sao Paulo, you know, so I've got to drive to Sao Paulo now. I spent the weekend in my cousin's house in the countryside, so now I've got to drive all the way back to Sao Paulo. That's why I woke up at 4 and now it's 5 something and I'm driving. Well, that's a good topic for today, my work, what I do for a living. I am a teacher and a translator. Some years ago I was only a teacher, but then something happened and I became a translator. Something crazy happened, and then all of a sudden I became a translator. You might be asking yourself what happened that turned me from a teacher into a translator, and the answer is I'm not sure. Let me try to remember that one. Okay, well, I've always liked languages, so I was a teacher at a very young age. I was 17 years old and I was a teacher, and one of my students needed a document to be translated. And he asked me if I could do that for him, and I did that for him, and he paid me some money for it. And I thought to myself, okay, I can do it. Then after some time I took some courses on translating, and I have also taken a postgraduate course on translation, and then I found some jobs as a translator at some different companies. And nowadays they basically send me documents, manuals, books, so on and so forth. And I translate things. That's what I do for a living most of the time. So in the morning I teach English, I go to different companies to teach English, and in the afternoon I go to a translation company in another city. Then after that I go to another company to teach again. So I basically translate and teach all day. When I get home I also work translating. And the question is, what does it take to be a good translator? Well, maybe you get a different answer to this question from other translators, but I'll tell you what I believe that it takes to be a good translator from my perspective. Well, you need to at least know 2 languages. Not only do you have to know these 2 languages very well, but you need to know them deeply. What I mean is, you can't just know vocabulary and grammar very well, but you need to understand the culture behind that language. I'll try to give you an example of what I mean with what I'm saying. Well, you can't translate the words literally, you know, word by word. You need to translate feelings, sensations, emotions, intentions. Okay, maybe I'm not being very clear here, but what I mean is you can't translate word by word. When you're translating something, let's say from English to Portuguese for example, you need to ask yourself some things like, what did the author of this text mean when he wrote that? How would a Portuguese speaker say that in that situation? What was the feeling and the emotion of the speaker at that situation? What was the emotion? What was the context in that situation? Okay, for example, let's say I'm making the subtitles for a movie and the actor said something like, "Oh, god damn it," which is a very common thing to say in English. Everybody says that all the time. Now, if you're watching this video with the subtitles in your language, in Portuguese or Spanish or in your language, you'll see the literal translation of these three words. So, god damn it. So it doesn't make sense saying that in Portuguese or Spanish or in any other language. It only makes sense to say that in English, because it's a cultural thing. Everybody says that. It's natural. It would sound weird in Portuguese because nobody says that way. But it's a very common thing to say in English. People say god damn it all the time. And we say that when we feel frustrated, upset or angry at something that just happened. So let's say something frustrating has just happened. You know, for example, I've just missed my bus. You know, I was running to get the bus and I've just missed it. I would say, oh god damn it. So I would be frustrated and angry, and that's when we say god damn it. So this is the context. Then as a translator, you've got to ask yourself, how can I translate this emotion into Portuguese? For example, if you're translating something from English to Portuguese, what do Portuguese speakers would say in a situation like that? What do Brazilian people say when they feel frustrated and angry or upset at something that has just happened? Well, I believe that a Brazilian person would say something like, oh merda. You know, something like that. That's why when you're watching the movie and the actor says, god damn it, you see that in the subtitles it's merda, or in Spanish, mierda. Or maybe something different, but something like that, you know. It's never translated word by word, you know, literally. Because it can't be like that, because if we do that, it will sound completely wrong, you know, and weird. So we have to adapt, have to adjust, we have to know the cultures from both languages that we are working with. I'm sorry about the bad words. I just wanted to give you an idea of what I need to do every day, you know. But that's the idea. I want to bring you real life English, so sometimes I have to say bad words, because in real life people say bad words, people use bad words on a daily basis. So that's the main job of a translator. It's not to translate words, but we should translate emotions, feelings. Therefore, we need to have a context and ask ourselves two things. Actually, three things. What did the author mean when he wrote that? What's the context of the situation that I need to translate? And what do people say in the language that we are translating when they are in a situation like that, when they have that kind of emotion, when they are in that context? So if you want to be a translator, you need to know at least two languages and the culture behind these two languages. So I basically do that all day and every day. I feel physically tired, but not mentally tired, because I love doing that. I love translating, I love teaching. Well, I've just noticed that my cell phone battery is running low. And it's about to die, you know, the battery is about to die, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to end the video here. But thank you very much for watching this video. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, like our page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. Please join our group on Telegram and practice your English with voice messages and text messages. I'm sorry about my voice today because I'm really sick, you know, and dizzy because I've made a terrible mistake. Before I left home, I took all my medicine, you know, because I've got a terrible flu. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna take all this medicine because I'm dying, you know. So I took many different pills and cough syrup and stuff. Now I feel dizzy and I still have to drive for 30 minutes or more. So I'm driving really slowly now. I'm at 40 kilometers per hour because it's gonna take me some time to get to Sao Paulo, and I don't want to die. I feel so dizzy and sleepy. Well, if I don't die, I'm gonna post this video, and yeah, if you're watching this video right now, it means that I haven't died, okay, so it's a good sign. I know that my voice is awful, and it's terrible to make videos like this when you're sick, but that's the idea of this series of videos. I want to bring you real life English, so when I'm sick, you know, that's it. I hope that you haven't heard any noise because it's raining a lot here. It's raining like hell. No, it doesn't rain in hell, I don't know. But anyway, thank you very much for everything. If you sympathize with my channel, please become a patron. Please click on the first link in the description of the video and check the rewards and benefits that my patrons get. So thank you very much for everything, and I'll see you next class.